You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting The Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
It is getting kind of chilly here in the Midwest.
A little bit, yeah.
So let's start thinking about summer.
I'm good with that.
One of our favorite things to do during summer is go to camp.
Yes.
I didn't get to make it to camp this summer. I'm so sad. We're hoping to make it to family camp maybe this coming summer. There are lots of really cool Lutheran camps around the country, and there are ways to serve at these camps, and we want to learn more about those and share that with you. Joining us today is Kristine Regalado. Kristine, welcome to the Coffee Hour. I understand that you've served at several camps through the last, 3 years through the National Lutheran Outdoors Ministry Association. Tell us about your first experience at camp. What first drew you to serve at a camp?
So my first experience at a camp, I grew up going to Camp Lone Star as a camper. And my junior, senior year, I kind of just decided this is something that I wanted to do after my first year at college. I got to go to Camp Lone Star in 2020. I got to be a counselor. So I was just enjoying some time with kids, leading them through different activities. I got to do archery, arts and crafts, just kind of all the camp things with them. That summer, I only got a week. That was COVID summer, but that week changed my life, and it has been a joy to get to continue serving. That summer not only made me want to go back for another summer, it made me want to do it for my life. So I love camp. And that summer, it showed me a lot of leadership qualities. It showed me what I want to do with my life. And it also just gave me a great community of people to continue to turn to after the summer.
That is awesome. Where were you able to serve after your summer at Lone Star?
I served at Camp Omega in Minnesota 2021, and I currently just got out of my summer for 2022 at Camp Lakeview.
So before you served your first year as a counselor at Lone Star, what did you think it would be like serving at camp after you had been there as a camper? What did you think it would be like to be on the other side of that as a counselor?
I knew it was going to be a little bit more work than just getting to have fun all the time. It had always seemed like it was going to be a little bit of a tiring job and that you were just on the go all the time. So coming into my first summer, I was a little nervous about that, but there actually is so much rest. There actually is so much time to just hang out and to just be joyful and to just be present in what you're doing at camp. I did not expect to have the relationships I do outside of going from a counselor role for being a camper. I thought I was going to be busy all the time and not have a lot of time to just be by myself or to be with other staff members, but that's completely wrong. I had plenty of time to not only pour into the kids, but to pour into myself and to pour into the other staff around me. It's just such a pleasant experience to go from thinking, oh, I'm going to be tired all the time to I feel rested all the time.
Feeling rested while serving at camp. That's exciting.
Yeah, that does not sound like something you would expect.
No. So you were at Camp Lone Star. What prompted you to consider other camps, going to Minnesota and Indiana as well? What prompted you to check out these other camps?
So after my summer at Lone Star, I really the idea in my head started to turn around about doing camp ministry for life and working at a camp full time. So when NLOMA applications came out my sophomore year, I started to think about the idea of maybe going out of state for the first time for myself. I was a little nervous about it. But what prompted me to kind of do that was the communities that I know I would find at camp, but also just knowing that I was wanting to do this full time for my life. I knew that I needed to go out and kind of just get some new experiences other than Lone Star. Lone Star is great and I absolutely love them, but also knowing that it's okay to try new things. It's okay to leave home and it's okay to go out and experience some other places too. And those also ended up being some of my favorite memories from the summers that I was not in state and not in my usual comfortable spot.
Yeah, what was it about all of those years at camp that made you confident enough in your ability to go somewhere else and try something new?
It definitely was all the little leadership qualities and all the all the talks about just having faith in where I'm going. As an outgoing senior, I had a lot of conversations with counselors, with friends about just what that would look like. And wow, like I'm kind of nervous about applying for the first time, or I'm nervous about applying again for the second time. I mean, I'm applying again for my fourth summer and I'm nervous again. But it was just all the talks in the community and the way that I continuously got pointed back to Jesus and how he was going to use me in these places that made me feel comfortable in stepping outside of my comfort zone.
What are the things you get to do as summer staff at these camps? I know that each camp is probably unique, but what are some of the things that are perhaps somewhat universal to the camps that you've served over the last 3 summers?
Some of the things that are universal, I would say, are the activities that you get to do. So most camps have different camp activities you can do, but I know most have like arts and crafts time, or they have archery or different things like that. So different activities you get to do with your kids throughout the day, but also Bible study. We get to lead those kids in Bible study every day, which is just an absolute joy to get to do. Meals and meal prayers, leading those kids in that and being able to just sit down and have intentional conversations at meals. Devotions in one shape or another is also just something that you can do that's pretty universal to every camp.
All right, you mentioned arts and crafts kind of universal. I'm sure that there are other things like archery and maybe waterfront activities, maybe swimming, things like that too. What about those areas where you're put in charge of something, but it's not really your strength? How did you find yourself? Did you find yourself in situations where you were challenged or stretched to try a new skill in order to lead it with your campers?
Yes. So this summer at Camp Lakeview, they actually have horses. Being from Texas, you would think that I have experience with them. I do not. I have never really been around horses. I never really led horses in any way, shape, or form, or really taken kids out in that sense. And so this summer was very nervous to be taking kids out on horse trails with our wranglers, and really surprised with how comfortable they made it. All the camps are very good about just taking time during staff training to get you comfortable and to let you ask questions, but also let you experience those activities so that you're able to lead those with your kids in the coming weeks as you're going to be counseling them and doing those activities with them.
So then what would you tell to other people who are thinking about doing camp because it sounds fun to be around kids, but the camp activities maybe sound a little intimidating, like archery or swimming, etc. What would you say to those people in encouragement to consider this, why it's been so beneficial for you?
I would say to not be afraid to try new things, and also that there are people that are also just like you that maybe are going on their first summer, that are going on their first time experiencing the same things that you are, but that there is a lot of joy and community that comes from that, from being first year counselors together or second years, being in new roles, because there are different roles at camp that you can be in, but that it's okay to go out and to try those things, and it's okay to not be good at them right away, that you have people that you can lean on throughout your weeks to ask questions and to just get to talk to, and you also get the chance to grow, but that it also just creates a lot of great leadership qualities for yourself. You get to learn more about you get to deepen your relationship with God, but you also get to learn how to interact with kids, but also with others your own age who are also as on fire for God as you are.
Having served at 3 camps now, how would you say your experience serving on summer camp staff has benefited you not only in your summer experience, but in your other vocations as well? I understand you're a student at Concordia University Texas now. How has your experience at camp benefited you in other aspects of life?
Oh, goodness, there's lots of ways. I'd say my confidence has gone up quite a bit from the time I stepped foot as a counselor for the first time at Lone Star to now being a junior/senior here at Concordia. I feel like I've come out of my shell a lot. I used to be very nervous about making the wrong decisions or about making just mistakes throughout my life and not being comfortable with that. But as I have gone throughout my years of camp, realizing that it's okay to make mistakes and that it's okay to keep trying those things, because as you keep going, I've gained that confidence in myself. I'm not a very big public speaker, so to say. So this is definitely a way that camp has helped me, is just talking to people and being comfortable with not being comfortable, but also decision making. I have been making a lot of life decisions as I'm going into my senior year here, and whether that be if I want to continue to be an athlete, if I want to continue down ministry in that path, or where I'm living, or just different things like that. Decision making has been a big way that camp has helped me, because I have to learn how to do that whenever I'm in charge of kids. So it's helped me just know how to do that for myself whenever I'm here in college.
It's amazing if you can talk in front of 50 to 100 sweaty kids being eaten alive by mosquitoes. You can talk in front of other people too, right? Well, I am so thankful that you've had a great experience serving at these camps during the summer. And as Sarah started to touch on earlier, what words of encouragement would you have to someone who might be considering serving at camp this summer, 2023?
I would say that it will be one of the best summers of your life, if not the best summer of your life. Camp it's such a joyous place to be all the time. And it's a joyous place to get to spend 3 months of your life at. There is community, there is fun, there is friends. Don't get me wrong, there are also hard parts about camp. Sometimes you do get tired and things, but you have people to lean on. You grow. Just the growth that you have over just the span of 3 months is just so exponential. So I encourage everyone that can to go out for at least one summer to camp. It'll change your life, and it'll transform you in different ways that you don't even think are possible.
Today, we're talking with Kristine Regalado, also known as Sparrow, who served at several camps this summer. If you want to serve at a camp like Kristine this summer, maybe even you might end up at the same camp as Kristine this summer. Mm-hmm. Stick around. We have more to learn about opportunities to serve at National Lutheran Outdoors Ministry Association camps this summer, partner camps this summer. So I hope you can stick around for the rest of the conversation on the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
At Concordia University, Wisconsin, we believe you were created for a reason: to use your God-given gifts to help others, to live a life of self-sacrifice in a me-first world, to live a life that's uncommon. Whether you're taking one of 50-plus online programs or learning with us in person on the shores of Lake Michigan, you'll be equipped to make an uncommon impact. Learn more at cuw.edu. Concordia University, Wisconsin. Live uncommon.
Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
We are talking about serving at camp this summer with our friends, partner camps of National Lutheran Outdoor Ministry Association. Joining us today, Bruce Wall. He's the Executive Director of Camp Luther in Nebraska. Bruce, welcome to the Coffee Hour.
Thank you.
So, Bruce, you got to hear Kristine's story about serving at several camps from Texas to Minnesota to Indiana, and her experience and how that's been beneficial to her as well in her various vocations. In hearing her story, anything that you want to comment on her story about serving at these camps?
Is she applying for mine? No, it's, I think just the part that really sticks out, and I think is what I see as executive director here at Camp Luther of Nebraska is that relationship piece. You know, God created us to be in relationship with one another, and that's why He created Eve and the church and the unity we have. And I think camp is just a very unique place where we can build Christ-centered relationships that not only impact our campers, but impact the wonderful summer staff that serve, but also impacts, even my family's impacted by the staff, and the year-round staff are impacted, and how we can build each other up in the kingdom, and how we can be a beacon of light in the really dark world.
So Kristine touched on the ways that she learned and grew throughout her 3 years of working at a camp. What are some other ways that you've seen those who serve on staff? What are some of the ways that you've seen them grow during their time in service to the camp?
Yeah, each counselor is unique, but just watching them grow. Kristine brought up the whole thing about public speaking, getting those shy counselors at training that, like, oh, are they going to be able to lead campfire? Are they going to be able to do this? And you go through training and then they go out there and they knock it out of the park and they just grow every week. And then I think too, watching our counselors learn about their strengths and their weaknesses. And we focus a lot here on building those strengths and using them to the glory of God and equipping our staff to use those, and just watch them kind of come out of their shell, watching them, just lead others. And then really, I think, looking at the church and our mission around the world is watching people our counselors become more confident in sharing the gospel message as they lead devotions and campfires and prayer time and watching them just grow, not only in their faith, but in their ability to share God's love with others.
Now, Kristine pointed out that she served at a few camps from Texas to Minnesota to Indiana. There are partner camps really around the country. Where do we find camps that are a part of the partnership of National Lutheran Outdoor Ministry Association?
Yeah, like I said, they're spread out all over the United States, from Washington, Idaho, and Montana, Colorado, right here in the Midwest, spread all over Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, at Camp Dixie, Mississippi, or I'm sorry, Alabama, and then, Arkansas, Texas, and New York. So really, we're kind of spread out all over the country.
So there are lots of opportunities to serve around the country this summer. And Kristine's done, I think, an excellent job of exploring and finding new places to serve and learning more about how she can serve and what her gifts are. What are the ways that young people can serve at camps this summer?
Yeah, each camp is unique, but there's a lot of similarities too. Of course, the counselor position, which is probably the most common that people think about, but a lot of camps also have VBSs that go out, or offsite day camps that they do. So there's day work counselors that are needed, or on-site day camp leaders. Our camp, like many others, have camps with people with disabilities. And so camps that, have bringing those skill sets to serve those, say with Down syndrome or autism. But then there's also leadership roles. So program assistants, maybe leading high ropes or offsite trips or family camps. And then a lot of support positions. If you don't feel like those are one for you, people leading crafts or lifeguard, or working with horses, or working in the kitchen, or doing housekeeping and maintenance. If you have some medical hopes or background, maybe doing a medic, or working in the camp store, or helping in the office. And then also a lot of camps like to hire people to help with taking pictures and helping with promotional materials for the summer.
So it sounds to me like if you have a skill set, which everyone has, you basically can find a place to work at camp. Is that right?
That is correct. And oftentimes, if you have a skill set, we learn it when you're here. We may ask you to use that, even if it's not on one of our lists.
That sounds pretty fantastic. So who is eligible to apply for this? Who can actually be one of these camp people over the summer?
Each camp kind of differs a little bit, but for kind of our profiles and working together with the NLOMA camps, our primary focus is on college age students working there. Although, if you're a little older and you want to give camp a try, we've actually had a cook come in who was in her 50s and stayed with us and served for a summer. And I know other camps have had that too. Our primary focus for counselors, a lot of those positions are the college age group, but I know a lot of those support positions, if you're interested to serve and you want to give a summer to God and do that through camp, camps would love to have a conversation with you.
So, for example, maybe you're a teacher and you have some time off during the summer and want to go serve and do arts and crafts or horses or
archery
or bike week or something like that.
I'm there for bike week.
There might be some fun opportunities to serve. Certainly, though, young adults in that college age range are, I'm sure, make for great summer staff. That was my experience serving at various camps throughout my college years as well, and I really enjoyed it. And I agree. Much of what Kristine said, I can resonate with. That those opportunities to develop the public speaking skills, just learning to speak in front of a bunch of campers. And as what she said about making mistakes too, learning that it's okay to make mistakes. There are settings where it's okay to make mistakes. Now, obviously, when you're dealing with sharp objects like arrows for archery, you don't want to make mistakes. You want to make sure that you're following the instructions, doing what you're supposed to. But there are other times when it's okay to practice and make mistakes, and you can learn from that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you do learn from mistakes when you use sharp objects too. But Bruce, tell us more about applying for serving at a camp that's a NLOMA partner this summer.
Yeah, so there's 24 camps this summer working together to recruit and to promote opportunities. And it's with that process, we have a profile that you can fill out online, and it'll ask you various questions. And some of it will be, what camp you'd like to serve at, if you would be willing to serve at any camp, or we also break the camps up into regions. So if you really just want to serve, say, on the West Coast, so the region A, you can put that down, and those camps will look at you and consider you for service. Or you could pick a specific camp saying, hey, I want to go here this summer. And so we get these profiles, we collect them. A camp will get in touch with you. If you apply for a specific camp, they'll get in touch with you. If you did kind of a region, someone will get in touch with you. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of like a sports draft in February. All the camps get together and we look at all the profiles. And, our goal as camps working together is to make sure that those who applied are put in places where they can thrive and serve in ministry. And so we're very applicant focused and ensuring. So we really work together and talk about the staff and share, and maybe this person would be a better fit here, or maybe this camp is short staffed this year. Maybe we can help them out and maybe funnel some people their direction. So it's a great process. You fill out a profile, and really you have 24 opportunities all across the country to find a place to serve, and camps that want to make sure that you have the best experience possible when you serve at a camp.
What other things will people need to talk about or do when they fill out this service application form? I'm looking through it. There's a lot of stuff that you all gather about these people who want to apply.
Yeah. So, of course, just basic information about the person, but we have a few essay questions in there about just, biblical knowledge or other gifts and talents and things that you need. Assessing yourself a little bit and just trying to get to know yourself and ensuring, your perception of yourself with us, and with the whole goal of finding the right place for that person to serve.
Very good. Where can we find the application for the service profile for this summer?
Yeah, if you go to NLOMA.org, that's NLOMA.org. And there's an employment tab there, and you can click that button that says start your journey today. And we'd love to chat with you and get you connected to a camp.
Fantastic. We'll share the link in the program notes today as well. Our guest today, Bruce Wall, Executive Director at Camp Luther in Nebraska. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And Kristine Regalado. Kristine, thanks so much for sharing your story with us on the Coffee Hour.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.